Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Fernando and welcome to my channel. What if shifting your perspective on things were able to shift your reality? What if choosing to see things from a different perspective were able to effortlessly shift you to your desired reality? What if accessing your desired reality through the front door of law of attraction and manifestation, nothing wrong with that, were not the easiest way for most? What if going around it and through the back door were a more effortless and even divine way to get to your desired reality? So if that's interesting to you, keep watching this video because I'm going to take you by the hand and walk you through some things I have on my board here, like metaphysical principles. We're going to talk about world versus planet, and I'm also going to give you two practical examples and illustrations of what I'm talking about here so that you can relate and so that you can apply it in your life starting today. We're also going to talk about who you really are and who we really are and what we're doing here on Earth, because this ultimately helps us transcend the limitations and see things from a different perspective. Okay? So let's begin by speaking about your world. What is your world? Your world is unique to you. You live inside of your own world. No one lives in the same world as you. Everyone on planet Earth lives in their specific, unique worlds. What is your world? This. Literally, your mind projection. Literally, you pushed out, as Neville Goddard used to say, right? Everything is you pushed out. The world is you pushed out. So this experience we live here on Earth, the video game, is a mind projection. Things appear physical, solid, and out there, but it's not really fundamental truth. Reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one, as Einstein used to say, right? So it's persistent. Our senses are tricking us into believing the illusion at every moment. But ultimately, it's a mind projection. So let's take a quick look at your world and what's happening there for you. So this is you, and this is your subconscious mind. So let the symbols here represent the ideas, the beliefs you carry in your subconscious mind. So I have a star, a triangle, a square, and a circle. You carry those in your subconscious mind, right? This is your world. This is your mind projection. And so you carry a star in your subconscious mind. Guess what? You experience a star in your 3D world, in your mind projection that's not solid, it's not out there, right? A triangle, a square, a circle. You see? So everything is you pushed out. Everyone is you pushed out. And this is the world you live in. If you experience lack, scarcity, fear, whatever it is in your life, in your world, this means this is inside of your mind, your subconscious mind. This guy over here is somebody else, and they live in a different world, okay, because they carry different things here. I see like this shape, this worm-like figure, this thingy here, this over there, and this is what this guy sees and experiences in his world. So everyone lives in their own unique world. Are you happy with your world? Would you like to change stuff around? Would you like to shift into a better world? Totally possible. You can totally do it. Why? Because you are literally light. Why? Because you are literally love. You are a cosmic being, an eternal spiritual being, having a temporary human experience. And when we decide to come here to Earth, we are playing this game over here, right? And so maybe your game, your video game, your world is not the most fun right now, but I'm here to help because you can shift it starting today, okay? So speaking of planet Earth, what is the difference between world and planet? Just so things are very clear. Okay, so world is this, right? And we're all living in our own little worlds. Or big worlds, I don't know. Your world is unique, my world is unique. And then we have the planet, planet Earth. We are all here on Earth, us humans, right? And so we are all on the same planet, but we are living in completely different worlds, right? You can literally have two people standing right next to each other on planet Earth, living in completely different worlds. Completely. Isn't that interesting? 2, 3, 4 years ago, I lived in a completely different world. It was a different world. Very different. I'm still here on Earth, you know, same place, but it's a different world. And so you can live in a different world too. We are here to co-create with the universe, right? And so you get to choose what world you live in. When the ideas you hold in your mind change, or in other words, when you begin to see things from a different perspective, these symbols, these beliefs, these ideas, they begin to transform, they begin to change. And so instead of having like a square here, you're going to have like a moon, whatever the symbol, it's just a representation. And then you're gonna see moons instead of squares, and maybe you like moons better than squares, if that makes sense. And so the world you live in changes because it's a video game. You are all the power. Knowing about these things and implementing these things in your life is literally like finding the video game controller on the floor, thrown about, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got it. Let's play some fun levels. You know, you are all the power. Okay. So now let's go to some examples here. The first one is gratitude. What is gratitude? What is gratitude? Well, for one, it's a frequency, right? And it's a very high frequency. It can be measured in hertz. It's very divine. So when you're practicing it, not only are you aligning yourself, you're becoming that frequency. And so therefore, you're becoming, excuse me, you're becoming a much larger vessel for you, the light. But also, you are shifting your perspective from taking things for granted to appreciating things. This practice here is very powerful. Do you practice gratitude? Do you? Let me know. This practice changed my life, and so I began living in a very different world. My sister's life took a 180 turn recently. I have spoken about this in previous videos, especially the video game video if you want to watch that. And so she is in a different world already. Last week, she began practicing gratitude using the book The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. This book right here. I love this book so much. So many practices here. And so I suggested she buy the book and like begin doing it because we'd been talking about gratitude back and forth. And so she's been seeing some changes in her video game. So she was excited and she began doing it. And oh my God, like, I think it was day one, the first day she did the first practice, she was like, oh my gosh, this is so powerful. I can feel it already. In the evening, she was at the mall and she has one of those food voucher cards that her company provided to her. She was recently laid off, yet she's doing amazing, which is all you get to do. Maintain your frequency. She's having a ball. And so she was at the mall and she was like, you know what? There's like a few bucks left on this card. I'm just gonna use it to just like, you know, finish it off and like throw out the card. She used it. She bought like a shake or something. And in the receipt, she was able to see her balance and she had like so much money there. She was like, where did this come from? You know, like I have no idea. And she immediately texted me and she's like, look what just happened. I have no idea where this money came from. I'm like, I know, it's gratitude. When you begin to emanate gratitude, the universe will see it, will read your frequency and be like, oh, gratitude, all right, let's give her some more things for her to be grateful for. That is literally how the universe works. And she was like, oh my God, gosh, I can't believe it. Yesterday, I think it was day 4 for her, and she was like, she texted me and she's like, I'm at the pet store. I came here to buy like one of those pee mats for my dog, and like I wasn't considering buying that one because I'm like, I'm out of a job, so I'm like, maybe I'll buy the cheaper brand, but then I get here and it's like, the brand I love is like half off. And then she goes to the supermarket and everything she's like going to buy is discounted. And she's like texting me, I'm like, yes, it's so powerful. Thank you for sharing with me the evidence of the video game and how you are totally able to choose the world you live in by choosing to see things from a different perspective. Choosing to live in gratitude means choosing to see reality from a different perspective, because our conditioning is always telling us almost to be ungrateful and to not appreciate things. And so we're always wanting more, and we're never really appreciating what's here in the now moment. And so gratitude is so powerful. It gets you the chance to shift the perspective, right? And as you do that, effortlessly, like everything begins to shift for you, right? So it's such a blessing. So this is one way to shift your perspective, okay? The second one I wanted to mention to you today is what I call the People Pendulums, all right? So recently I posted a video on pendulums. I'm going to link, it's this video here, but you can click over here if you're using your phone to see that video where I walk you through the whole pendulum jazz, okay? We're not gonna talk about that today, but just a little bit about the people pendulums, what I call the people pendulums, meaning you're going about your day and then sometimes people will come up to you and say something or do something, and maybe you will be triggered. Maybe you will be irritated. Maybe you will be annoyed. Maybe you will be stressed. Can you relate? Right? So people are able to deliver pendulums to us, okay? If you react, you will be feeding the stress pendulum, and you can pay attention to your video game because you will see more things to be stressed about. And so you're stressed about the situation, you're stressed about the person, you're resenting the person, but you're the one who is being affected by the negativity because you chose to react negatively. Now, these situations can be sticky, right? They can be really tricky sometimes. So instead of being annoyed by the person or by what they said, what can we do to just shift stuff around so that we can effortlessly shift to a much better world on a moment-to-moment basis? So this is about remembering who you are. This is about remembering who all of us are. You are not a body, you are not a mind, a conscious mind, you are not your emotions, you are not your thoughts, and neither is anyone else. We are souls, we are eternal spiritual beings. We choose to leave home, the spirit world, the world of unity, unit consciousness, telepathy, eternal compassion. We choose to leave home to come here to play the game, to expand. And so when we choose to see people for what they really are and for what they're doing here, things begin to change inside of yourself, meaning what you project, your external world that's not external, changes accordingly. And so to illustrate this, I'm going to read for you. There's a book I love called The Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. If you're interested in the spiritual world and the journey of us as souls between lives on earth, if that's your jam, then definitely go check out this book because it's so amazing. And so it's so beautiful to remember that we literally choose our mission. We choose the adversities we're going to face on earth for us as souls to expand. And so this is such a different perspective than seeing people just as mortal humans that are out there to get us, and there's competition. It's a very different perspective. So I'm just going to read a passage here that I felt inspired to share with you. So Michael Newton, the hypnotist, is talking to the subject, meaning the soul, okay, the higher mind. And this passage is when the soul was in what they call the ring of destiny, choosing their next life. So they could see the possibilities and the available bodies for them to incarnate in. Remember, there's no time in the spiritual world. It's all coexisting. So remember that. The subject in trance says, "We are not shown all the possible endings to a scene. Parts of lives are obscure to us." And then Dr. Newton says, "So, time is used as a catalyst for learning by viewing lives when you can't see everything that is going to happen?" Subject: "Yes, to test our ability to find solutions. We gauge our abilities against the difficulty of events. The ring sets up different experiments to choose from. On Earth, we will try to solve them." We are all here doing our best to solve the problems we picked to come here try to solve. So what if you looked at people from this perspective, which is the fundamental perspective, and it's so beautiful. It's a simple shift, but that you get to practice on a moment-to-moment basis. This changes the world you live in, and I'm getting the goosebumps as I say this, okay? I used to be fearful of people because of my adversities, the adversities that I picked for this lifetime. For example, low self-esteem and lack of self-worth. Because of this, my experience with people was always like, I was afraid of them. They know more than I do. They deserve more. They have more rights than I do. These were my beliefs in the past, okay? That's the world I lived in the past, all right? And so being on the spiritual journey and learning about who I am and what we are, I began shifting this. So going to the gym every day, I remember beginning to see people choosing to like look at a human being in front of me or human beings around me and going like, God bless you, you are souls, God bless your soul. So I began blessing strangers in my mind. Soon enough, I realized I was walking more straight up. I wasn't looking to the floor as much. I began to feel more inclined to look people in their eyes and not like look away. And so the effect it had on my self-esteem, this one practice, is very valuable because it's one shift in perspective, right? Of course, other practices that I have in my toolkit help me as a whole, but like every single one of them counts. So it can be very simple, and it is simple, and you can start today. Next time someone stresses you or makes you feel edgy, remember who you are immediately and remember who they are as well, and choose love no matter what. Why? Because when you choose love, you choose yourself. When you choose hate, resentment, anger, you are literally not choosing yourself. And so hopefully this inspires you to take divine inspired action towards your desired reality today, because you deserve everything. It's your birthright. Now, if you're wanting to understand more about the pendulums, I'm gonna go ahead and link this video for you to go check it out right now. I love you.